Hello there, Anthem. Welcome back to school. I hope your Thanksgiving vacation was amazing. Well, I love this time of year because the weekend after Thanksgiving, all the Christmas decorations go up. I don't know what happens at your house or with your family, but with mine, it is time to go full Christmas. So we put up the tree, we put up the lights, the decorations, and having a great time getting ready for Christmas. As you can see behind me, it's Christmas time here at Anthem, and we are looking forward to celebrating all season over these next few weeks leading up to Christmas. So I'd like to start talking about some themes that surround Christmas. We're going to be talking about hope, we're going to be talking about peace, we're going to be talking about joy. All these things are things that we can focus on at Christmas time. So we're going to start with that today, but first, let's sing this song together, listen, reflect, and let's worship God.
Be still my heart and know you are God alone. Stop thinking so much and just let go. Be still my soul and rest. Humbly I confess in my weakness, your strength is perfect. For you alone are God, there will be no other, and you have won my heart more than any other. So I will give it all, 'cause you gave it all for me. Be still my heart and know you are God alone. Stop thinking so much and just let go. Be still my soul and rest. Humbly I confess in my weakness, your strength is perfect. For you alone are God, there will be no other, and you have won my heart more than any other. And I will give it all, 'cause you gave it all for me. For you alone are God, there will be no other, and you have won my heart more than any other. So I will give it all, 'cause you gave it all for me. Bless the Lord, oh my soul cries out. All that is within me praise. Bless the Lord, oh my soul cries out. so I will give it all, 'cause you gave it all for me.
As I was thinking about the Christmas story, this time of year is the time we reflect on the birth of Jesus. And one of the things that I thought about, especially this year as our circumstances have been quite different from years past, is that, back 2,000 years ago when Jesus was born in that manger, in those circumstances, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't a blissful, happy time for the people that he was born to, the God's people, the Israelites. It wasn't a happy time for them. The fact that he was born in a manger, in a barn, in a trough was not ideal. That's not where you want your baby to be born. There was a lot of circumstances that were not great. And oftentimes we see the manger scene and we see the Christmas story played out like it's this blissful, peaceful thing, but it really wasn't. It really was a crazy, crazy time for all this to happen. And so I want us to think about our circumstances, and we're going to be focusing over the next few weeks in these chapel times on hope, on peace, on joy, despite our circumstances. Right? We talk about having peace, we talk about having joy, and we think about it as this wonderful thing. But oftentimes we feel like we can only have those things if our circumstances are right. I want to suggest to all of us that we can have those things no matter what our circumstances. We can have those things because Christ came, he was born, he died for us. And he wasn't born into perfect circumstances. He wasn't born into this perfect time. And so we know that our lives don't have to be perfect in order to achieve these things, to have hope, to have peace, to have joy. So today we're going to be talking about hope. Hope despite our circumstances. In Romans chapter 8, there's a verse that says, "Now hope that is seen is not hope, because who hopes for what they see? If we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." Hope is something, in this verse it's saying, who hopes for what they can already see, right? We don't have to hope for that because we see it right in front of us. It's attainable. We can grab it and we can work towards it. That's not hope. Hope is for something beyond, something that we cannot quite see, but that we hope for, that we long for. And God's people, when Jesus was born 2,000 years ago, God's people had been hoping for a long time for a Savior. They hoped and hoped and hoped. And it wasn't like a hope like, oh, I hope, and maybe I'll wait a few months and I'm going to keep hoping, or I'm going to wait a few years and keep hoping. In the book of Isaiah, there are prophecies that talked about a future Savior coming. It was talking about Jesus. And that book was written 700 years before the birth of Jesus. So talk about holding on to hope. God's people had to hold on for generations, for hundreds and hundreds of years for their promised Savior. They really had to hold on to hope. And this shows us that we can have hope despite the situations that we find ourselves in. Because God's people, for hundreds of years, were holding on to hope. And a lot of those people that hoped, they never even saw it in their lifetime. They hoped that God would come and bring a Savior. They knew that one was promised. They hoped for that. But they lived and they died, and their children lived and died, and the children's children lived and died without them ever seeing that hope fulfilled. That's pretty crazy when you think about that. And when Jesus was born, God's people 2,000 years ago were under the Roman Empire. They were under Roman rule, which means that the Romans had kind of taken over all their territory, all their land. They still let them practice their religious traditions, but they were under Roman law. They had to obey and go by the laws that the Romans had put on them. So they weren't in great circumstances. It wasn't a great time for God's people, and they hoped for a Savior that would deliver them from being oppressed by the Roman Empire. What's interesting is when Jesus did come, and he came as that hope for all of humanity, not just for his people, but we find out through, as the story goes on, for all humanity. The hope was not just to be rescued from the Romans. The hope was not just to be brought into freedom and have their own land and they could practice their own religion or whatever. That was earthly stuff. That was stuff that would come and go. God provided, through Jesus, a hope that would carry us beyond whatever earthly circumstances we find ourselves in. Even after Jesus, in the years that followed, the God's people, the Jews, they would still be oppressed. They would still lose their land. Their temple would be destroyed. All this stuff would happen. And did that mean that Jesus, being our hope, had somehow failed? No, because through Jesus and his teachings, we find that the hope he provides is for a hope that is eternal, a hope that is beyond the things that are around us, beyond our circumstances. So Jesus brings a hope for our souls, a hope that in our lives, in each and every moment, we can change the world around us by bringing God's light to other people around us. And that is the hope that I want us to focus on this season. We don't have to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or next month or next year with all this COVID-19 stuff. We don't have to worry about just everything that's going on, the political stuff happening in our world, the divisive stuff that's happening all around us in our country. We have a hope that kind of can elevate us above that. We can focus on Jesus, on the gift of his Son, and we can have hope that our souls will be with him for eternity, that each and every day we can bring light and just positive things to the world around us, to the people around us, our friends, our family, our classmates. Today we find ourselves in difficult times, and throughout our lives, your life, my life, we will all, again, face difficult times. That stuff never changes, unfortunately. You think you get through one really difficult time and you think you're in the clear, but life is just ups and downs and ups and downs. And that can be discouraging unless we can hold on to hope. So Christmas is a reminder that we can have hope no matter what our circumstances. Whatever situation you find yourself in with your classmates, your friends, with your family, whatever's happening at home, those circumstances might be tough. And it's not that we have to ignore them or we can just say, oh, it's okay. We still have to work through those things, but we can hope in Jesus because he's given us that. He's given us his Spirit. He's given us just the promise that he will walk with us each and every day. So this season, hold on to hope no matter what your circumstances. All right, well, I can't wait to continue talking about joy and peace in the weeks to come. Let's just have a great Christmas season together. I know things are a little different this year, right? We may not be able to have the big Christmas play that we normally have. We may not be able to gather with family like we normally do, but we can still celebrate all that God has done for us and all the hope that he gives. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.